Hey guys, Retro Gaming Maniac here, and I have another episode of games that I own for you. And this episode is going to focus specifically on portable games or handheld games. So I'm going to pick 5 games from 5 different systems that I have in my collection, show you the game, tell you a little bit about them, and why I like them. So stay tuned. Okay, so first game on the list is a game for the Nintendo DS, and this one came from my friend Radical Reggie, and that is Resident Evil Deadly Silence. And the cool thing about this game is, for one, it's on the DS. 2 is it's the full Resident Evil game, specifically the PlayStation 1 version. The graphics closely resemble the PlayStation 1 version, though I would say they're better in some areas and not as good in others. But the cool thing about this game is it incorporates or allows you to choose between an option or a game mode called Rebirth Mode that incorporates a lot of the DS's functions between the touchscreen. There's even like a first-person view you can go in. There's a knife-wielding mode where you can take down the zombies using a knife and the touchscreen. I believe you can even use the mic on the DS to blow blow into the mic or whatever for different puzzles. And the cool thing is this also features a multiplayer mode, and it's not quite what you think, and it has a versus mode, which is more of a competitive, time-based type thing. But the co-op mode is pretty cool because it allows you to play with another friend, possibly 4, I think this goes up to 4 players, and work your way through the mansion together. And the way it does it is kind of weird. You don't actually get to see your co-op partner. You see a star, and that star is representing the character and where they're at in the certain room that you're in. And it doesn't move around constantly, kind of just stays in one spot. So you'll see them in one room, and then you come out and you might see them in the hallway. It's pretty cool. It's not great, but for a DS game, it's not bad. It's definitely a great game if you're a big Resident Evil fan. Definitely pick it up. It is cool seeing the different modes, the different costumes, and using all the different functions of the DS between the touchscreen, the mic, and a few other things. It makes this a really cool version of Resident Evil to have. I think you can get it between $20 and $25 right now complete, so go ahead and try to get it before the price goes up. But that is Resident Evil Deadly Silence. Alright guys, so next game on the list is a PSP game that I've put a lot of time into, and that is Star Wars The Force Unleashed for the PSP. And the cool thing about this game, I don't know if you can see it there. The cool thing about this game is it's the full, complete Star Wars The Force Unleashed campaign story. You get to take it on the go, obviously, but it also has a lot of side missions and bonus content that you just did not get in those other versions. And speaking of other versions, I think there's a PS3 version, a 360 version, a PS2, a Wii, and a DS version of this game. But to me, this is the one that really stands out. Not only is it portable, but you get multiplayer mode, you have a versus mode, a co-op mode. There's also a mode called bonus missions, or historic missions, that's what it's called. You get to be like Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader, and basically there's a whole bunch of different lightsaber battles and duels that you can get into that were famous in the Star Wars universe. But it allows you to, be Luke Skywalker but have the force powers of, the new game. It's really cool. It's really over the top. And there's even a survival mode. I forgot the name of the survival mode, but it's like a wave-based survival mode that's a ton of fun. But this is a game you can just put a lot of hours into, and I think this is probably the best version to own because the graphics still hold up, they're great, the story's there, and you get all the bonus features and content. So Star Wars The Force Unleashed on the PSP. Alright guys, so next game on the list is a Vita game, and that game is Resident Evil Revelations 2. Now this game kind of gets a lot of hate because people say the graphics suck and the frame rate is bad. And while the graphics are not as good as, let's say, the PS3 version or whatever, I think they're fine for a handheld game. This is the full version of the game. It's a very competent port. Some of the complaints people have about this game are valid, but I will say that with an update they did, it fixed a lot of the frame rate problems. And I think most of the issues this game has graphically and whatnot are not due to the PS Vita's limitations as a system, and the specs on it and everything, but I think it's more of the company that ported this game to the Vita. Maybe we're not super familiar with the Vita, and then that's why we have some of the issues. But the cool thing about this game is the full game comes with some bonus content. We got 2 playable side stories, 4 character costumes, raid mode, and you can also play as Hunk and Albert Wesker, so that's really cool. It does have a co-op mode as well, and this is actually an import that I got, if I'm not mistaken. This is the Japanese version, I think. Yeah, I believe this is the Japanese version that I got, because I believe the Vita version in the US only got a digital copy and not a physical, so this is the Japanese version. But it's a great game, a great version of Resident Evil Revelations 2, and if you haven't played that game, go ahead and play through it. It's kind of episodic the way it, way it plays out, kind of like a TV series. I can totally recommend this game, and don't listen to the haters. And if you would like more information on this game or to see gameplay, Radical Reggie actually did a really good review of this game, so I recommend checking that out. He goes through the game, talks about the gameplay, the graphics, controls, everything. Make sure you check out Radical Reggie's video on Revelations 2 for the Vita. Alright guys, so next game on the list is a 3DS game, and that is Splinter Cell 3D. And what this is it's a port of Chaos Theory. And what they did is just ported Chaos Theory over to the 3DS, but they took out the multiplayer. There's no co-op, there's no Spies versus Mercs. It's strictly the single player experience. And that's not a bad thing, because Chaos Theory is a very good, if not one of the best Splinter Cell games out there in my opinion. And this is a good port of Chaos Theory, but it does have its problems. It's not perfect. The graphics are pretty good. I'm not gonna knock it for the graphics, because it is on a handheld, and the 3DS is not known for its amazing graphics anyways, but the graphics are decent. The controls is really where this game struggles. They're trying to take a complex game like Splinter Cell and put it on a handheld, and it's the full game. And the problem you have with that is the 3DS does not have a second circle pad. So controlling the camera and other things like that is used with the face buttons, the A, B, X, Y buttons on the 3DS. So it works, but it's definitely going to take some adjusting and some getting used to, because it's not great, but it does work. But it does utilize the touchscreen, the bottom screen, for a lot of the actions, which is good, but it takes getting used to. All in all, this is a good version of Chaos Theory if you're interested in playing through that story. I would recommend playing the Xbox or PC version though, but if you're looking for a good Splinter Cell game for the go or on the go on a handheld, it's definitely not bad, and as long as you didn't plan on playing multiplayer, you should be fine. But that's Splinter Cell 3D. Alright guys, so next game on the list is, it's a pretty old game, and that is Joshua and the Battle of Jericho on the Game Boy. And what this is it's an unlicensed game by Wisdom Tree. If you remember Wisdom Tree, they made several NES games that are kind of biblically themed. There's Noah's Ark. I can't remember the other ones. There's several Wisdom Tree games on the NES, but they also made 1 or 2 Game Boy games, and that's Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. And the weird thing about this card is you can see the weird design, but also the pins are exposed. So I don't really like that, but I mean, it's an unlicensed game. They had to kind of change up the card, I'm guessing, but it plays a lot like an old game called Crystal Mine. I forgot the name of it. So gameplay wise, this game is essentially a copy of a game called Crystal Mines, which is just a puzzle game that kind of reminds me of Bomberman and Dig Dug, kind of mashed together. But not a bad game. I'm not big on puzzle games, but this is just a game I wanted to show you guys, because you may not have even known that it existed. It's kind of a very obscure and weird looking game, and that is Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was a special episode showing some handheld games, portable games specifically, that I have in my collection. A lot of these are great games, some of them are iffy. Really the only iffy one is this one. But I mean, if you're a collector and you collect Game Boy games, go ahead and pick it up. It's really obscure. It's not very easy to find either. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. Go ahead and hit the notification button so you get notified when I have a video uploaded. And thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. See ya.